Hi, Bob Simmerman from Auto Sim Sport Magazine, and tonight we're going to be taking a look at the outstanding race car simulator, netKar Pro. Released to a few grumblings, shall we say, as the multiplayer wasn't quite up to snuff. There were some activation issues. Some people couldn't play it after they bought it and downloaded. It was kind of a rough start for netKar Pro, and rightfully so. It did have, it had a bit of rust on the edge. But in many ways, it's one of the best simulators that's ever been written, and there's several reasons for this, and we'll be taking a look at some of those reasons tonight. We're going to be taking a look at netKar Pro using a rig I built. Well, we'll just leave it at that. And it's built upon the Asus L1N64-SLI WS motherboard, and that particular motherboard will hold two AMD Socket F or Socket 1207 CPUs. Currently I have the FX74 in there, two of those, for a total of 4 cores, so, that sounds pretty impressive, but let's just say I've got an FX74. Sounds good to me. 4 gigs of RAM, 2's probably where we need to be. We've got the NVIDIA 8800 GTX card in there. Does a great job, as long as you've got the right drivers. And last but not least, it's built upon, as I said earlier, the Asus motherboard, aka the Quadfather. Now, a horse's head didn't come in the box, but something a little more important did, a little something I like to call enough. We've also got the beautiful, beautiful gateway. I've tried the fraps and it works great, but seems to have some frame rate problems. It makes it tough to do some things I want to do. Anyway, if you've been following the forums lately, you probably have come to the conclusion that this install appears to be disintegrating. I have no idea why, but that's the way it goes. Anyway, it still runs netKar Pro like crazy, and it's going to give us a great look at this great, but really rough around the edges simulator. Hit race. And here we go. We're going to have a first look at netKar Pro, and we're going to be taking a look at what I feel is one of the coolest things about it, and it's something that the flight sims have been doing for years, but netKar Pro does it to perfection. And that is the realistically model cockpits. Here we are in the garage. It's dark because we're well within the shadows, and nothing. Got no power, no juice. But this will give us a good opportunity to take a look at some of the gorgeous graphics here. And one of the special things about netKar Pro is the so-called Doom mode, where you can get out of the car and walk around using the mouse to look. You can crouch and take a great look. We'll take a look here in the shadows, and then we'll take a look later out in the sun. And here we've exited the car. As we move down, we can see the gorgeous texturing, the extreme attention to detail. It's just a beautiful, beautiful car. And you can take, you can walk all the way around the track. You can go out into the stands. You can do pretty much anything you want. I mentioned earlier we've got a crouch mode. And this will take you down to the ground level, where you can stay. We'll go up here, take a look at the exquisite modeling on the tire and brake and suspension modeling up front. Here you can have your actual name, if you so choose. Just really, it's not something you would probably expect to see in a racing simulator, but since somebody took the time to put it in there and the trouble, it's kind of neat. It's kind of a nifty mode. You just get back into the car, hit F11 when you're close enough to the car, and there you go. Now the one bad knock against netKar Pro was the documentation wasn't really good, and that's that's fine. It happens to a lot of sims for whatever reason, but in particular this wasn't very good. They did come out quickly with enough key commands to start the car. And you'll notice that wheel blocks some of the switches that you need to flip. So we're going to go ahead and take a look at that now. Now we can, look left, look right. Okay, now we've got ignition. Here we can see the HUD system warming up, the LCD system in the wheel, based on the actual AIM telemetry acquisition data unit. And by cycling through the button selections, we can display in each quadrant of that, for example, best lap, our speed, our battery voltage. That's important because netKar Pro is hyper realistic, and if the battery goes dead and you stall the car, you're pretty much not going to go anywhere. And so on and so forth. Some of these buttons or displays are programmed before you get into the car. Well, let's go ahead and try to fire it up. And there it is. Now I have the second set of sounds that were released, sound system that was released for netKar Pro. The first was a sound system based on what the engine was actually doing. So like in a real car, an engine does things and makes that noise. And when it does different things, like float the valves at high RPMs, for example, you bikers who miss a shift don't know what I'm talking about there. It's pretty realistic to make a long story short. And sure enough, I stalled the car in my very first drive. But that'll give us a good look to take a quick look in the Doom mode. You can really get a good look at the texturing all over the place. It's just stunning. Beautiful surfaces on the ground, and just very realistic looking. And the car is gorgeous. There's no two ways about that. Very, very beautiful car. We're going to take a bit of netKar Pro on the track here. It's quite a bit to behold, quite a bit to look at. You can see some of the gorgeous texture modeling is right there. Driver space is modeled. You can see the beautiful modeling of the tires. Here's an in-car shot. This is a good look at how things are going inside the cockpit. You see the pumps, the driver's head bouncing around. The tires are good and warmed up at this point. You get a good idea here. Oh, I've gone off again, and there's some dirt over there on that tire. It scrubbed off after a while. And the texturing and the lighting and everything about the way this looks is supreme. Just beautifully done. You've never really seen anything like it. And one of the other things that, and I'm not sure we're going to be able to take a look at it here. I'm going to try to get this particular view. One of the other things that netKar Pro modeled was damage to the driver and realistic times to fix the damage when you got damaged on the track, so to speak. In other words, when you ran into the wall or went off the track or bent a suspension part or couldn't go on any farther, you hit the escape key like you normally would, and then you go right back to the pits. However, in the lower right hand corner is a box in red that tells you precisely how much time you have left before you, for example, are towed back to the pits. After that, another timer will start, and it will tell you how long the repairs will take. Sometimes we're talking a half an hour, perhaps an hour. But it'd be a long race if you expect to get back into it. So, and there you have a little bit of a look at how netKar Pro drives out on the racetrack. Well, that brings us to the end of our netKar Pro segment, and I hope you've enjoyed some of what you've seen, and if you haven't already tried it, give netKar Pro a try. It's more than well worth it, in my opinion. And till the next time, in the meantime, I'm going to go outside, wait about a month, and ride my motorcycle around. You folks have a nice day.